Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, MIL wants my wedding ring, keeps trying to take it. I hurt my MIL feelings. Was I wrong? Mil demands to know why DH doesn't like eggs. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. MIL wants my wedding ring, keeps trying to take it. My husband's grandma gave him her wedding ring to give to me at our wedding. When he was first putting it on my finger, we could hear a very loud, "What the hell is that?" from his mother when she first saw what it was. It's a solitary diamond surrounded by small rubies on a gold band, and his grandmother had it as her wedding ring, and it had been passed through the family since the mid-1700s. Grandma didn't like her daughter, nor her granddaughter, husband's sister, really, so she felt it was best for my husband to have it to give it to me. MIL spent the rest of the wedding and the reception staring at the ring on my finger, I'm sure just trying to figure out how to get it. A couple weeks later, we were over at her place for dinner and she kept insisting I take it off while helping to clean up, so it wouldn't get damaged, and put it somewhere safe, like her jewelry chest upstairs. I declined and kept it on. Few weeks later, she was over at our house for dinner when she saw I wasn't wearing it because I had just been gardening, and she asked why I wasn't wearing it. I told her, and she suddenly had to go use the bathroom and went upstairs to use it. I was suspicious, so quietly went up to check, only to find her trying to force our bedroom door open. As soon as she saw me, she said she couldn't find the bathroom, to which I pointed at the open door and the obvious bathroom that she would have had to pass to get to our bedroom. Even if she had forced the door open, my ring was in the safe in there and only I have the combination. I don't think she wanted it for herself, but for her daughter, my sister-in-law, as my sister-in-law is one of the most spoiled, entitled people I have ever met. She whines about my husband having something, but doesn't want to put in the work to get it, but my MIL is more than happy to get it for her. FIL is not in the picture as he died when my husband was around 8 or 9, so getting him to help is not a solution. My husband has said that ever since his dad died, his mom has spoiled his sister constantly, while he has had to work hard for everything he has. FIL even got mad that my husband and I got a free trip to Hawaii for our honeymoon. My parents paid for it, it was their wedding gift to us, and threw a fit that she couldn't go to Hawaii, so MIL bought her one right after we got back. I showed this post to my husband, and he said I forgot to mention one incident. We were over at her house for dinner and she said I should take off the ring so it wouldn't get damaged. I went to my purse in the living room and pulled out dishwashing gloves, which I put on. My husband even said afterwards he could see her deflate when I put those on. I am thinking about having a cheap replica made and accidentally leaving it out and see what happens to it. Thanks for the suggestions. I won't have a cheap fake just so I don't have to worry about my real one going missing. Sticky fingers. Also, get an insurance policy and have a laser tag added to the diamond and rubies in case she ever does get her hands on it, you can ID it. I would not be letting JustNoMil into my house after that. Other suggestions. Get it appraised and insured. Get a replica made for daily wear, keep real ring in your safe or safety deposit box. Make sure you have pictures saved to the cloud to prove it's yours. Tell your JustNoMil of steps 1 and 3 to discourage her trying to steal it, don't tell her about the replica. Absolutely get it appraised and insured, no question about that. I like the idea of a replica. Besides all this, OP and husband need to tell her this *T stops or they will go low/no contact for various periods of time. Like first time 1 month, 2-3 months, etc. I designed, produced, and made jewelry. The commenters who have suggested appraisal and insurance are spot on. Among the issues, the ring has an intangible value and a tangible value, which may or may not be duplicated. Rubies for X, if they are old, pigeon blood red, are likely to be natural stones versus heat-treated or lab-grown stones. Old diamonds may be rose-cut, which really isn't done today. Protect your gift from greedy vultures. And shame on them, it's grandmother's choice, not theirs. I hope they choke on that entitlement. It's also just a good thing to do with expensive jewelry anyway, even if you don't have a thieving MIL. Oh, I'm all for this replica idea. Take the ring off dishwashing and put it somewhere in MIL's line of sight and see what happens. Nah, have the replica ring go down the sink. You can also get a ring holder necklace. It's designed to hold your ring while you take it off. They're really neat, you don't have to unclasp and thread it because of the design. This way, if you ever need to take it off unexpectedly, it's still on your person. They have lots of different designs, finishes, and price points. I have never heard of that. I did a quick look and found one. It is amazing. I have one of these for my boyfriend and one for myself. We aren't engaged yet, but we got each other nice rings at different times because we loved each other and we have never received them from anyone before. Don't let this woman into your house anymore. She's clearly plotting to steal an expensive and sentimental item. Good people don't do that. Get your husband's grandmother to write out a statutory declaration that the ring was given to him to be used by you as a wedding ring. This way there can be no legal shenanigans if she passes away without it being written in her will. Also, I would make sure you have it written into your will who you want it to go to, so if, heaven forbid, something happens to you, they can't try to take it. And make absolutely sure you give them each something, however piddly, so they can never claim they were forgotten about. A necklace chain around your neck where you can slip it on so you're wearing it even when you're not wearing it will probably drive her mad. LMAO. Sounds trixies. You wouldn't be a dirty rotten hobbitses? And used to work in operating theater, always took rings off to scrub, had gold chains on necks, became habit to put the rings on there at the start of the session. I hurt my MIL feelings. Was I wrong? I'm a 28F and my husband is a 32M. We have 2 kids together. A 3-year-old and a newborn who just turned 2 months old. We recently closed on a home which is outside the city, in a rural area. My MIL hasn't ever liked me, simply because we have different beliefs. She feels that a woman's place is taking care of home, being barefoot and pregnant, catering to my husband. I'm the oddball, his sisters and Sales are all stay-at-home mothers. Fine, but that's not for me. My husband was aware that I wasn't a stay-at-home kind of woman. We balance our careers and taking care of our house and our kids just fine. My MIL has something to say about everything regarding our household, and though my husband has told her to stay out our business, she hasn't. His parents live almost 3 hours away depending on traffic. On more than one occasion she's complained about my cooking. She didn't like this. She didn't like that. It was too this. It was too that. But then would clean plate of the same recipes when I cooked other times and say nothing. She and my FIL are here visiting for the next month along with my BIL, his wife, and their 2 kids. My MIL is a Karen. From the moment she's stepped into our house, she's pointed out things we should change and what we should add, and what we don't need. I've done well ignoring her, up until a couple of days ago. I was in the kitchen cooking dinner while everyone was out back on the deck. She asks my husband when I was returning to work. He told her I already had. She looks perplexed. She shames me to him for putting our children in daycare, she assumed. She goes on about how if we hadn't moved, she could still be looking after the kids. My FIL's health has been at a critical point since last year. Her watching our children was taken off the table due to us concluding that it would be too much on her to handle. My husband explained this to her. She asks who's looking after our children. He tells her my mother. She says that wench knows nothing about raising children. For God's sake, her own daughter doesn't know how to take care of a house properly or fix a decent meal, so your kids are not learning anything there. My husband comes to my and my mother's defense and tells her that he will not tolerate her disrespect in our house and that if she continued with that kind of attitude that she could leave. Dinner is ready. The moment I sat down after delivering everyone their plate, minus MIL, all eyes set upon me. I told her, since I can't fix a decent meal, there's no need for you to eat what I cooked. There was a moment of awkward silence before my husband slides his plate over to her. It was wrong, but I grabbed it before it even reached her. It caused an argument between my husband and I. MIL starts crying and I tell her to suck it up because she can dish it but she can't take it. Hubby expects me to apologize. No one is talking to me besides Sayel, who thinks it was hilarious what I did. Better yet, pack your and kids' bags and go to your mother's. Tell DH you will only comes back when his parents are gone and when he stops being a shitty husband for allowing his mother to continuously be abusive to you with no consequences. Tell him even then you are disgusted with him enough that it will take counseling for him to see how much he is fucked up as a husband by allowing this. I love it. That was WAAIYYYY petty, but an absolute mirror of the disrespect you received in your own home. Definitely drives the point home that no one insulting you in your home should still expect your hospitality. A reaction like that is going to cause confrontation and consequences, but if that's what you need to hold your boundaries, don't back down. If an apology is required, you should get one from her first. She and my FIL are here visiting for the next month along with my BIL, his wife, and their 2 kids. For a month? Because she can dish it but she can't take it. Yup. Was it petty? Yes. But she insulted you and your mother. And in a particularly cruel and demeaning way. I get that he was trying to handle it himself and that he wants to respect his mother, but honestly, one person can only take so much. How would your MIL and husband feel if you called her a wench or said she shouldn't be trusted with children or said she couldn't cook a decent meal or said she was keeping a poorhouse? In her book, those are all insults that cut to the very core of what she thinks a woman should be, so she meant them with every ounce of vitriol she has. Ask him why he wants you to apologize. Watching him flounder for response that doesn't expose his hypocrisy should be entertaining. And not you weren't wrong. Why do these hateful people think we owe them some sort of loyalty because we married their offspring, when if someone from the outside would get handled? I've never felt the urge to give a standing ovation to something I read on the internet, until now. So many Just No stories end with well they came over even when I said no, and I rolled over, what's one more jab at me, yada yada, and it's heartbreaking to read. You are my hero. Don't you dare apologize. How many times has MIL hurt your feelings? Why is it okay for her to say hurtful, hateful, rude, disrespectful things to and about you with zero consequences? Why are you expected to just ignore it and let it slide? She not only attacked you, but your own mother. It doesn't matter that your DH told her it was wrong and he won't tolerate it if she doesn't suffer consequences for it every single time. You had every right to do and say what you did. And SIL is right, it is hilarious. Why is his mother allowed to be hurt and get upset, but you're not? That's bullshit, and you should say so to every single person who was present. I'd straight out ask everybody why is it okay for her to constantly disrespect me, especially in my home? Why is SHE allowed to be hurt and upset, but I'm not? I'd ask for explanations from the whole bunch of them. Why is what you did and said mean, but apparently when it's MIL it's not? And your husband had no right getting angry at you. He had business to take care of his horrible mother, long before you finally had to put her in her place yourself. This is on him and everyone else that enables and defends her. They should be sticking up for you and calling her out on her rude and disrespectful mouth. Don't you dare apologize to any of those people. Your DH and HS mother are the ones who owe you the apology, as well as the others that are sticking up for MIL. She deserved every bit of what you gave her. If she's humiliated, good. Tell your husband you can't help that she doesn't like the taste of her own medicine. Inform him that he puts her in her place himself and starts doling out punishments for her bullshit, or you're going to continue doing it yourself in whatever way you see fit. He isn't allowed to get mad at you for standing up for yourself and your mother. So your husband tells her he won't tolerate disrespect but doesn't kick her out, and he also gives her his plate? He needs to stand up to mommy for real. You're NTA. I wouldn't have served her either. Mil demands to know why DH doesn't like eggs. This is the umpteenth time it has happened. It's not a big issue, but it's kinda recurring. DH ignores it and I respect his choice. Just thought I'd share the ridiculousness of it all. Mil offered DH a salted egg sauce crab dish today and DH, not knowing what it was, just ate it. He stopped eating the moment the food touched his tongue and was wiping his tongue with a napkin. Mil laughed at seeing his reaction. DH asked her why didn't she tell him it was salted egg. She insisted that it was curry and not salted egg. I tried it. It was salted egg all right. There's no way you can't tell the taste between salted egg and curry. One is salty and one is spicy. The color may look similar, but it tastes vastly different. Maybe Mil did it on purpose? Then she went into the usual tirade of, then why are you eating cakes and bread? Those contain eggs. DH couldn't even be bothered to answer that question and told her you should know the answer to that. By her logic, we should all be eating flour and baking soda, or is it baking powder? Because cakes and bread contain them. She then said DH used to eat lots of eggs as a kid. I've no idea if it's true, but people's taste changes all the time. He could have loved eggs as a kid but hate it now. What's the big deal? She tried to ask me why doesn't DH like eggs, but seriously, what reason could there be? Taste is subjective. She tried to get me on her side and told me to ask DH why doesn't he like eggs. She also questioned me on why I don't like things I don't like. She even told me to serve DH eggs on occasions. It's just weird. Start asking her questions like, why do you care if he likes eggs? Every flipping time. As an adult picky eater, this sort of stuff pisses me off so much. Why won't you eat fresh tomatoes? What do you think ketchup is made of? You eat mushroom-flavored things, why won't you eat mushrooms? You'd eat shellfish when you were a toddler, why don't you eat that now? You know your food can touch on the plate, it's all going to the same place. Etc., etc., etc. I can't exactly control what I like/don't like, and it's not always the taste that throws me off, the texture brings issues too. I have a friend who loves cooking with processed tomatoes in all forms, but had a traumatic experience with a raw tomato in childhood and can't stand them as a result. My mother did this to me with bananas. She believes that since I ate bananas as a baby, I must be wrong in my statement that I hate them now. I hate them to the extent that I want to throw up upon tasting them. A couple of years ago, she made me a smoothie and put bananas in it thinking that I wouldn't know the difference. I took a sip and spit it out, then she got cross with me because I was wasting it. I am 53. But do I know what I like? Apparently not. Same with bananas. In my case, though, my mom understands why. And why I can no longer eat fish or other seafood. Maybe he did eat lots as a kid, because she fed them to him all the time until he got sick of them and so he doesn't like them now. Same for me and tomatoes. I ate them like apples as a kid. By the time I was about 8, I didn't like them as much and now I can't stand fresh tomato. Dad still brings it up and I'm in my 30s. This is what happened with me and coriander. My mom loves the stuff and puts heaps in everything. Now I can't stand it. Sure, I ate baked ham and cheese sandwiches all the time as a kid. Just because my mother forced us to eat it, you had to clean your plate or you had your leftovers for the next meal, doesn't mean I actually liked it. To this day I won't eat ham. Ha! My eldest is autistic and can't stand to see fried runny yolk eggs. We sent on a trip when he was 9 with his grandparents and went to Denny's and told Grandpa he could order anything but he wanted eggs, they had to be scrambled. Grandpa is a moron. Not in a funny way. He ordered eggs over easy, legit said it's fine cause he's on the other side of the table. Food came and my son proceeded to vomit all over the table. We looked at him and said, "You're paying and cleaning because we told you." Haha, yes, people's tastes do change as they grow older. For example, as a child I loved to eat erasers but would never eat eggs. Now that I'm older, it's the opposite. Crazy, isn't it? LOL. Your MIL sounds like a lot. I wouldn't even eat with her anymore, since she's so willing to lie about what's in a dish. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.